broken, but not defeating lessons from a love lost. You ever have that moment where you're sitting alone, staring at your phone, waiting for a message that never comes? That silence, it's deafening. You replay every conversation, every moment, trying to figure out where it went wrong. You think, was it something I said? Something I didn't say? Did I love too much or not enough? That's heartbreak. That's the sound of your chest caving in on itself after someone walks away from a world you built for two. But here's what no one tells you when you're in that space, when your heart feels like it's been shattered into unrecognizable pieces. They don't tell you that this is not the end of your story. It's just the chapter cry through before you write your comeback. See, love has this sneaky way of giving us clarity after the storm. When you're in it, you're hopeful. You compromise. You shrink a little just to make the relationship work. You think love is about holding on, but real strength comes when you realize that letting go is actually the most loving thing you can do. For you are not broken because someone left. You are not less worthy because someone couldn't love you properly. You are not defeated just because something didn't last. You're human. And being human means you'll hurt, you'll fall, but you will also rise if you let yourself. The truth is, love isn't always about forever. Sometimes love shows up to teach you what you don't deserve. Sometimes it shows you who you become when you forget your value. And more importantly, how powerful you are when you remember it. If someone made you feel like you had to work for their affection, if you were constantly trying to prove your worth, then that wasn't love. It was approval seeking disguised as romance. And you are not here to earn love like it's a trophy. You are love, you bring the magic. So let them go. Let the fantasy go. Let the version of you who needed their validation go. And when you do, watch how you begin to return to yourself. Watch how your standards rise, how your energy changes, how your silence becomes louder than your need to explain. This heartbreak, it's refining you. It's making you sharper, smarter, stronger. You didn't lose in love, you gained clarity. And sometimes that's the most powerful victory of all. You're not broken, you're becoming. You're not defeated, you're discovering. And one day, you'll look back and thank the pain for showing you how deep you're capable of loving and how fiercely you deserve to be loved in return. Heartbreak isn't failure. It's part of being fully alive. It's the emotional proof that you dare to feel deeply, to connect vulnerably, to invest in something uncertain. When love ends, it's easy to think you failed. Failed to hold on, failed to be enough, failed to do the right thing at the right time. But heartbreak isn't about failure. It's about the courage it took to care. It's about the risk you took when you chose to let someone into most sacred parts of your heart. You allowed yourself to hope, to believe in something bigger than just you. That in itself is something to be proud of. Most people walk through life guarded, unwilling to show their soft parts, terrified of being hurt. And yet you showed up. You allowed someone to see you, to love you, to matter to you. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you bold. Because there's nothing more courageous than letting someone in, knowing full well they could walk away. The ache you feel now, the one that hits you in the chest in the middle of a conversation or in the silence of the night, it's not a symbol of defeat. It's a reflection of your depth. The more we love, the more we feel. The more we feel, the more alive we are. Heartbreak doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you were open, you were real, you loved honestly, even if imperfectly. You might be questioning yourself right now, wondering if maybe you cared too much, gave too much, stayed too long. But maybe the problem isn't that you were too much. Maybe it's that you gave to someone who didn't know how to hold it, who didn't know what to do with the rare, raw kind of love you offered. That doesn't make you wrong. That makes you human. Human enough to try, to trust, to lean into love, even when it made you vulnerable. And yes, heartbreak can shake your identity, can strip you down to your insecurities. But that doesn't mean you're broken. It means you felt something real, something that mattered, something that shaped you. Heartbreak can break your routine, your rhythm, your plans, but it can never break your worth. You are still whole, even when your heart feels fractured. You are still powerful, even when you feel powerless. You are still lovable, even if someone else couldn't love you right. You don't need to hide your heartbreak or mask it with distractions. Let it be what it is. Let it teach you, guide you, grow you. Because this feeling, as painful as it is, proves you're alive, that you've loved deeply, that your heart is still beating with hope, even through the hurt. Letting go is often the greatest act of self-love. It's not about giving up or admitting defeat. It's about choosing yourself in a situation where staying is costing your peace, your joy, your identity. Letting go doesn't mean you didn't care or that the relationship meant nothing. It means you've reached a point where you recognize your value enough to walk away from what no longer honors it. We grow up believing that love means holding on no matter what, pushing through the pain, sacrificing endlessly, but sometimes love is shown in our ability to stop sacrificing ourselves for the sake of someone who wouldn't do the same. Letting go means having the strength to stop watering something that stopped growing. It means seeing reality clearly and choosing to stop trying to change someone who has no intention of changing. It means you no longer place your worth in someone else's hands and wait for them to handle it carefully. Sometimes we hold on because we're scared of the void, the silence, the unknown. We worry that letting go will leave us empty, but often it's in that very emptiness that we rediscover who we are. When we finally create space, we invite healing. We give ourselves permission to breathe again, to feel again, to be without constantly questioning ourselves or trying to fix what we didn't break. Letting go is not an easy decision. It's the moment you stop fighting for someone who stopped showing up. It's the moment you accept that love shouldn't have to be begged for. That affection should be freely given, not earned through emotional labor. It's recognizing that you deserve a love that feeds your spirit, not one that drains it. And sometimes we confuse attachment with love. We stay out of habit, out of fear, out of nostalgia for the good moments, while ignoring the pain that's become a daily companion. Letting go allows you to honor both, the good that was there and the truth of what's no longer present. It doesn't erase the memories or the meaning of what once was. It just means you no longer allow your past to dictate your future. You're choosing not to be held hostage by what someone else couldn't give. Letting go is a decision you make for your mental clarity, for your emotional balance, for your inner peace. It's telling yourself, I matter too. My needs, my dreams, my well-being, they matter. And even if your heart still aches, even if your mind still replays the moments, you choose to release what's weighing you down so you can rise again. You don't need to earn love. You are already worthy of it. From the moment you took your first breath, you were enough. Not because of how you look, or how perfectly you play a role in someone else's life, but simply because you exist. Somewhere along the way, we learn to attach our worth to performance. If I'm good enough, they'll stay. If I'm accommodating enough, they'll choose me. If I'm quiet about my needs, they won't leave. That's not love, that's survival. And love was never meant to be a test you have to keep passing to avoid being abandoned. Real love doesn't come with conditions you constantly have to meet. It doesn't make you feel like you're on trial, explaining your heart over and over just to be seen, heard, or chosen. The right love won't ask you to shrink to fit into someone else's world. It will expand to meet you where you are, in your strength, your softness, your flaws, and your fire. You don't need to be more or less of anything to be loved right. You just need to be who you are, fully and freely. The problem starts when we confuse approval with love. We perform for validation, hoping that if we become who they want us to be, they'll finally stay. We silence ourselves to be palatable. We dim our light so we don't outshine their comfort zone. But the truth is, the love that requires you to abandon yourself in order to keep it was never love to begin with. Love that's real won't make you prove yourself over and over. It won't use your vulnerability against you or make you feel guilty for having needs. Love won't make you earn your place in someone's heart. It will welcome you into it. You are not a project to fix or a checklist to complete. You are a whole person with your own dreams, fears, desires, and truth. And any love that can't honor that isn't worth holding on to. You don't need to overcompensate, chase, or perform. You don't need to explain why you're enough. You just are. The moment you start believing that, truly believing it, you stop tolerating breadcrumbs. You stop accepting almost love, half effort, and emotional crumbs. You begin to show up differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself with a quiet knowing that says, I know what I deserve, and I won't settle for less. And that shift in energy, that decision to stop begging for love and start owning your worth, changes everything. Not all love is meant to last, but all love can teach you. Every person who enters your life does so for a reason, whether it's to show you what love can feel like or to teach you what you should never accept again. Sometimes we hold on to the idea that love must last forever to be real, but the truth is, some of the most powerful love stories don't come with a happy ending. They come with a lesson, a mirror, a turning point. Some people are chapters, not the whole book. They're meant to walk with you for a season, not a lifetime. And that doesn't mean the love wasn't real. It means it served its purpose. It showed you something about yourself. Maybe it awakened a part of you that had been asleep. Maybe it reminded you how much you're capable of feeling. Maybe it revealed your patterns, your wounds, your unhealed places. Love has a way of pulling things to the surface, things we didn't even know were there. The way you reacted, the way you gave, the way you lost yourself or found yourself. All of that is information. It's growth. And even if the relationship didn't last, the growth will. You can carry the lessons forward without carrying the pain. You can remember the connection without romanticizing what was actually unhealthy. It's not about forgetting, it's about reframing, about understanding that love's value isn't always in its duration, but in its depth, in what it awakens in you, in what it leaves behind once it's gone. The people who broke your heart still taught you something. The ones who left still gave you clarity. The ones who didn't choose you still helped you choose yourself. Every experience of love, even the painful ones, shapes your understanding of what love should feel like. And sometimes the heartbreak was the catalyst for your transformation. The moment you stopped begging for love was the moment you started learning how to love yourself better. The day they walked away was the day you stopped waiting to be chosen and started choosing your own peace. That is a lesson no time can erase. Love teaches in whispers and in wounds, in soft memories and sharp endings. But it teaches every time. And you don't come out of it empty-handed. You come out with more wisdom, more compassion, more understanding of what your heart needs. And that is worth holding on to, even when the person is not. Pain is not your identity. It's your catalyst for growth. When we go through heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal, or loss, it can feel like the pain defines us. It lingers in our thoughts, in our body, in our behavior. We start to believe that because we hurt, we are broken. Because we suffered, we are less. But the truth is, pain is not who you are. It's something you've experienced. It's a message, not a label. It comes to teach, not to trap. The problem is, we often wear our pain like armor. We let it shape the way we see the world, the way we show up in relationships, the way we speak to ourselves. We become afraid of vulnerability because pain taught us that openness leads to loss. We close off to protect ourselves, not realizing that we're also shutting out potential healing, connection, and joy. But pain doesn't come to make you bitter, it comes to make you aware. It reveals the parts of you that need attention. It points to the boundaries you didn't set, the needs you didn't voice, the love you gave too freely without return. Pain shines a light on the areas where you've abandoned yourself for the sake of others. And while it hurts, that awareness is the first step toward reclaiming your power. You are not the betrayal that broke you, you are the strength it took to survive it. You are not the heartbreak that shattered you, you are the resilience that pulled you through it. You are not defined by what happened to you, but by how you choose to rise from it. Growth doesn't always look graceful. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's crying in the middle of the night, questioning everything you thought you knew. Sometimes it's walking away from someone you still love because you finally realize your worth. But every tear, every lonely moment, every silent battle is part of the rebuilding. It's part of shedding who you were taught to be in order to become who you really are. Pain may shape you, but it doesn't own you. It may visit, but it's not meant to stay. And the more you allow yourself to feel it without judgment, the more you begin to heal it. The more you understand it, the more you can release it. And in that release, you find freedom, not from what happened, but from the need to carry it like it defines your story. A healing begins when you stop chasing closure and start reclaiming yourself. It's natural to want answers, to want the person who hurt you to explain why they did what they did, to admit their part, to say they're sorry in a way that finally makes the pain make sense. But closure is often the thing we wait for that never really arrives the way we imagined. Sometimes the apology never comes. Sometimes the explanation just adds more confusion. Sometimes the person has already moved on while you're still stuck holding all the pieces, trying to solve a puzzle that no longer exists. Healing doesn't come from the outside. It comes from choosing to give yourself what you were hoping they would give you. It comes from deciding that your peace is more important than understanding when they couldn't love you right. It's in the moment you stop refreshing the messages, rereading old conversations, trying to decode silence. It's when you realize you're not going to let someone else's inability to show up define your sense of worth. Reclaiming yourself means taking your energy back. The energy you gave to someone who didn't honor it. The thoughts you've spent reanalyzing their behavior. The hope you've been holding on to that maybe they'll change, maybe they'll come back, maybe they'll finally see your value. Every minute spent waiting for someone else to validate your pain is a minute stolen from your healing. You can choose, instead, to validate yourself. To tell yourself that your feelings are real, that your love was honest, that your effort mattered. You can choose to show up for yourself the way you kept showing up for them. You can set boundaries not because you're bitter, but because you're building something stronger inside you. Closure is not a conversation. It's a decision to accept that the chapter ended without the ending you wanted, but that it ended for a reason. That reason doesn't have to make sense to anyone but you. It just has to lead you back to your own heart. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means no longer needing the pain to be your reference point. It means no longer needing to prove your value to someone who couldn't see it. You begin to heal when you stop waiting for someone else to come clean and instead start cleaning the parts of you they left messy. You heal by choosing yourself every single day, even when it hurts, even when it's lonely, even when your heart still remembers what it wishes it could forget.